This is Maurice Jones-Drew, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show network, with your hosts, Jake Berryfield and Mike Regalado, and occasionally some friends, talking all things UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
And welcome to What's Bruin, a show about anything and everything Bruin sports. I am your former host, Bill Shirley.
Bill
had a rather grandiose sense of his own importance. He took the title King of the Universe.
King? Wait, you literally put Bill.
You want to hear it one more time?
Go.
There you go. Bill
had a rather grandiose sense of his own importance.
That's actually...
He took the title King of the Universe.
And the Bill's not me saying Bill. It's Bill from like a Hemingway Audible novel. Okay. Yeah. It's like it's Campbell Scott saying Bill. So there you go.
Well,
think Campbell Scott right now. One more time.
Love Campbell Scott.
Wait, here we go. It doesn't work. Bill
had a rather grandiose sense of his own importance. He took the title King of the Universe.
Already derailed. Welcome back, Bill. It's
well,
nice to hear your voice.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be back for this episode. I really appreciate
Blast
it.
from the past.
I know. From the series
11 year anniversary. We got to bring you back, buddy.
There you go, dude. There you go. We have everyone for this one. We have everyone. We'll talk about that in a second here. But listen, you can follow these guys on Twitter and Instagram at What's Bruin Show. You can email them what'sbruinshow@gmail.com. You can find them on what'sbruin.substack.com and other alt-right sites.
That's right.
Patreon.com / What's Bruin Show. And you can also see these guys on YouTube. That's funny. I've been begging for it. For 10 years, I begged for it. And then right when I leave, they're like, hey, we're on YouTube. So F you all.
It's nice to have you back.
You can be the YouTube intern if you want. It's actually very time intensive.
Yeah,
so
no, it's all good. Oh, then I'm not there. All right, so listen.
Extra work?
Extra work, so that's not me. So listen, you can get the What's Bruin Show merch on the I think the notes. The notes
it's like a My Locker site.
My Locker site.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead and check that out. Look, I wear mine. I still wear mine, and people sometimes go, hey, I think I've heard of that show. It's really cool to see that. It's cool to see that there are actually people out there still listening to the show. And you can, of course, call the WBN hotline. That number is, come on, guys, here we go, 805-399-4WBS. Suck it, Raina Troy.
Suck it, Raina Troy.
Suck it, Raina Troy. So I'm going to hand it off to Jake. Jake, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. It's good to have you back. And we also have some other illustrious guests in here. You might have heard Jamaal coming in a little bit late on the second Raina Troy, but he is live from Arizona. Is it the right time over there or the wrong time over there right now, Jamaal? What time of year is this?
It's the hottest time. I believe I've literally moved to the surface of the sun.
You're melting into the pavement. But yeah, it's none other than our kind of former regular co-host, Jamaal Artist, but also our regular host of your favorite show, West Coast Bias.
Welcome to West Coast Bias. I'm your host, Jamaal Artist. West Coast Bias is part of the What's Bruin Network, a great show on a great network.
Jamaal, it's good to have you back. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Happy to be back. Happy to be celebrating the 11th anniversary of the symposium.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And then we are our final wonderful guest that's in studio today.
First time in studio.
No, I don't think so.
He came to the house back in the day.
Yeah.
He came to my
Really?
house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I blanking?
Yeah,
Man,
for sure.
Man,
But
the 60s really got a hold of me.
yeah, exactly. No, we know that. But he gets the best introduction because it's coming to you from frickin' Chicky Baby.
Now, Jim Bendak. What can you tell me about him, Keith? 5'10", 160 pounds, and he's 39 years old. He attended University High School, Northwestern University, and Loyola Law School. He collects programs and ticket stubs from sports events dating as far back as 1908 and enjoys doing play-by-play broadcasts. Oh, yeah. Jim, stay out of the broadcast field and I won't be a public defender. Some of his proudest moments are the day he married Marilyn and the birth of his children, Jeremy and Francine. Jim is a public defender for L.A. County. And you know what? He looks darn good in that Laker uniform out there on the forum floor.
You know,
When the heck was that?
That was
is
awesome.
Other than negating his third child who hadn't been born yet, and now his grandchildren, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better introduction, so it's always in the can.
When did what how?
It's
How,
Jim Bendat.
How?
Retired public defender, author, and the Godfather. Good, Jim, tell the story of that thing.
Good to be here with you guys. That was from about 1987, possibly 88, but I'm pretty sure it was 87, right after the Lakers beat the Celtics for the title. The Lakers had a promotion where you could they would prepare a little radio thing like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Marilyn got it for me. I believe it was for Father's Day, and it was a big surprise. It was great. So since then, like you said, third child born, and Keith Erickson mentioned that my program collection went back to 1908. Now it goes back to 1892.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, he's just
Oh, damn.
He's just a baller, man.
Yeah, so it's always good to have the Godfather in studio, and of course, because UCLA is starting with the Big Ten, our favorite Big Ten guy has always been the Godfather, and now we're all Big Ten guys, which is kind of bizarre to think about. But
Very weird.
yeah. But thank you for coming out, Jim. We really appreciate it.
Great to be here, and I'm wearing my UCLA T-shirt.
That's
I've
right.
got a split Northwestern and Alabama hat because I went to Northwestern, Alabama fan, so it's all good.
That's right. And Mike will put a picture of that up somewhere, I think, at some point. Or actually, Mike, make sure we get a couple photos for the show post, by the way, before we finish up. All right. Well, that is all well and good. Thank you, everybody, for assembling. The What's Bruin Avengers have assembled.
Avengers assembled.
Yeah, we have assembled.
What's Bruin? Assemble! Dun, 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 dun.
Just real quick, as Mike has been trying to point out on Twitter for the last week, we did have this is our 11th year doing the show. We really appreciate it. It has been through, we've done a lot together, obviously. Everybody that's on the air right now with us right now has been a contributor at one point or another, and it's very, very cool. I am very proud that we started the show, and we were the number 2 most popular UCLA podcast when we started it, kind of by default, right there behind the Bro and the Tracy. And now, here 11 years later, we're no worse than tied for like the 5th best UCLA podcast in a very crowded market. But we're here, and we want to thank you guys for listening. And one of our longtime listeners called in, so let's let him. He's very enthusiastic. It's the same.
Hey fellas, this is Shane Dog. That fucking never call. I'm sorry, shit. Because my ideas are better on paper, but I forgot, so I'm calling in. I've been with you guys for 10 years, bro. You've been there 11, but I've been there for 10, bro. I'm the fucking. I love you guys.
We love you too.
Seriously, Bill needs to come on more often, but I've been saying that for 10 years. Everything's great. I love you guys. I love everything about it, man. Bare minimum, everything. And got to see Jamaal once in a while, too. So peace and love to you all, and suck it, everybody.
We love you too, Shane. Yeah, thank you. So that kind of says it. So if you like the What's Bruin show, that's probably what your sensibility is right there. And hey, we're not sorry for it. So yes, good. We're starting the new season now. UCLA is a member of the Big Ten, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And we are going to try to get a few things done tonight. This podcast, I know me and Mike are going to be here till the very end, but it could end up being like 6 hours of podcasting. Hopefully not, but we'll try to be efficient with this. We're going to go through our Big Ten picks. We're going to go through our UCLA season pick. We're going to go through a Hawaii preview. Mike has 15 minutes of an interview with an awesome Hawaiian guest who I'm very, very sad I missed out on, but Mike did it.
Funny,
and thank you so much.
Great guy. Stephen Tsai of the Honolulu Star Advertiser not only gave good information on Hawaii, but a few funny tidbits. There's some gold in there.
Yeah, and plus we have a couple calls to get through as we're going through all that information, and I think probably and What's Wrong with You at the end. So got a lot to do. So we're going to get right down to it. We don't have a gosh darn Big Ten open yet, and I don't know what that's all about. We're slacking. We've had we've had a year to do it, but instead of doing that, we're just going to play the Pac-12 one, sadly, and get on with our talking about the Big Ten, I guess.
Big Ten!
All right, guys. So we have a bunch of teams going to the Big Ten. It's going to be a giant 18-team conference, and we're not going to go team by team through the predictions. We're going to spend a little bit less time on the Indianas and Purdue's and Minnesotas of the world. I went through and I picked the whole schedule. I know Mike did too. I don't think Jim, Jamaal, and Bill. Jamaal, did you? Did you go through there and do that exercise? You champion?
No, I went kind of a loose, just checked out who I thought would be the top.
That's totally cool because that's what we're going to
teams.
be. So I think what number one, just Jim, you're the one who's been a Big Ten follower the longest, and you've had a foot in both the Big Ten and the former Pac-12 the longest. Just, what, just in a couple sentences, what are you thinking going into this weird, historic, kind of weird reset season? How are you feeling at this point?
Everybody's making a real big deal about the travel, and it's something. But I don't think that's going to be that big a deal for football.
Right.
And probably not that much for basketball, but for the minor sports, maybe. Way back in 1965, I got to throw in some history here.
Of course.
1965, UCLA won the conference, and that season they had road games at Penn State, Michigan State, Missouri, Tennessee. They went to all these places.
Yeah.
And
not in super first-class luxury liners with five-star hotels.
We're talking 1965. The Bruins survived a whole bunch of travel, and they won the conference. So it can be done. That's going to be the biggest thing that everybody's going to be talking about, and it'll be certainly an issue because UCLA, in addition to the conference games where they got to travel, they also got LSU and Hawaii on the road. So that is a bunch of travel. But hey, when you're a college age, you're tough. You can handle it.
No, I couldn't agree more with that. Jamaal, how are you feeling about this? I mean, your team is in the freaking ACC, for Christ's sakes.
I think that travel only is going to get brought up a lot, like Jim said, but it's they travel all the time anyway. I know they make a big deal about having to go to Nebraska versus just going up to Oregon State, but Nebraska is a terrible team, and maybe the conditions and the conditions might be better when they go there than if they had to travel to Oregon State in the middle of a Pac-12 conference season. I think a lot of people, just because the Pac-12 was on the West Coast, forgot how many of those games were hard. Hell, just coming down here to Tucson was a pain in the ass for UCLA. It didn't matter if they were good or bad. So I don't think travel is going to affect football as much. You can make an argument for some of the other schools. When the softball team has to go to Minnesota in April, gearing up for the tournament, it might be a little different for them because they don't get to live in the lap of luxury like football players do. But yeah, I agree with Jim. The travel story is overrated. Talent, other things you can bring up more about the football team than what the travel is going to do. And it goes both ways too.
No doubt. Bill, corporate Bill, I should say, you spend time rubbing elbows with big wigs that went to major universities and whatnot, playing golf.
Sure.
You have twins playing volleyball at a high level. What is the word on the street, as a man of the city of Los Angeles, what are the people saying about the move to the Big Ten, or what are your own thoughts on the move to the Big Ten as a Bruin alum?
Well, I mean, in terms of word on the street, I work at a company that has
a bunch of SC people.
Yeah, a
bastards.
bunch of SC. Yeah, but even they're not walking around going, "Oh, we're going to win it all." They're going to win it all. They'll still try to throw a jab about, "We'll probably be better than you." I throw it right back. But it's overall, it's gonna be an interesting first year, man. I'm excited. Actually, it went from shock to complaining to now I'm excited. I love this time of year, and I'm excited to see what the former Pac-12 teams can do. I wonder how they're gonna mesh up with the Big Ten foes. I guess now peers. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, Mikey, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, it's just it's kind of like when you're going on a big trip. It's like the closer you get to it, the more excited you are, the more prepared you are, and hey, you're getting on that plane, you're going to go visit somewhere new, and this is basically what's going on with this season. There's no stopping it now. UCLA doesn't play a proper Big Ten conference game until week 3, but hell, this weekend they're going to Hawaii as a representative of the Big Ten. It is what it is.
No, absolutely. Now, as far as talking about like the different teams that are coming over, right? We're going to get to UCLA's. What our thoughts are on UCLA football is a little bit later. But for the teams going into the Big Ten, and then we'll move that to the teams going to the Big 12, and then we'll even hit up Jamaal with the teams going to the ACC. How do you guys feel about Washington, Oregon, and why am I blanking? And SC heading into the Big Ten, right? Just which one of those three teams do you think? I mean, I think it's an obvious answer, right? We all think that. We all agree the Ducks are going to be the best of the teams entering the best.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend a lot of time thinking about that. Okay. What I want to know is really more than How do you think the Huskies and the Trojans are going to look going into the Big Ten? We'll start with the Huskies. Mikey.
I think that they are well prepared. Jedd Fisch, he did a lot of good stuff at Arizona. But I keep thinking, what happens if Kalen DeBoer stayed at Washington? I think they would definitely be in the top 2, top 3 conversation with Ohio State and Oregon. But as it is, Jedd Fisch is there. A lot of turnover, so I think they are going to take a step back from their national championship appearance. But I think it's Washington. Like Oregon, USC, and UCLA. USC and UCLA have had more troubles among the 4 in the last few years, but all 4 of those teams have a lot of resources, and I think they're going to be able to, when they learn to adjust to Big Ten life, they'll be fine in a few years.
Oh, I'm curious what Big Ten life. Yeah, what do you mean by Big Ten life? Are you talking about like
travel,
playing the big mean
teams,
Big Ten guys, or are you talking about just getting across the country and all that stuff?
All of it, all of it. I mean, hey, anytime you can have more cheese curds and bring that to Los Angeles, I'm all for that, baby.
Jimmy, what do you think about the Dogs in the Big Ten?
I think they're going to struggle this year. It took Jedd Fisch a while to get going at Arizona.
Yeah.
They were good last year, but before that, not so great. And I think it's going to take a while. I think Washington lost, 21 out of 22 starters?
That's the mind-blowing
Something
thing.
like that.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's 20 out of 22, I think it's what it was.
I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-road team.
Absolutely. About a 6-6 team. Kalen DeBoer, you mentioned him. He's gone off to Alabama. Took some
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Took some of the Huskies with him. So, he's going to do well in Tuscaloosa, but I think they're going to struggle in Seattle.
Yeah, the entire interior of their offensive line is now in Alabama. Their quarterbacks and wide receivers are all in the NFL. It's insane the amount of turnover they had. I am friends with an anonymous Washington parent, a guy who should have went to UCLA, but I understand why not. I asked him today. I said, "What's the Dogs' record going to be?" And he's like, "I don't know what the record's going to be, but I'm hoping for a bowl game." And that's where he's at, and that's like with the most
that actually says a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I looked at their schedule, and I have them, going 4-8 going into the Big Ten, just because I think they're going to play their non-con okay, and I'm giving them a win against Washington State. But then beyond that, I think it's going to be tough sledding just because of the amount of turnover. Bill, what are you thinking about the Dogs?
It was similar to what the Godfather talked about. Just looking at his record and how he operates in terms of starting at a new school. Talking about the head coach. He was what I think he won one game his first year at Arizona, and then his last year before he got picked off by Washington, he did very well, including beating UCLA. Really frustrating. And I think that's going to happen here. It's the same sort of thing. You said 21 out of the 22 are gone. It's going to be pretty much
a big number like that.
It's a big number, so it's going to be the same thing. He is a good coach. Don't get me wrong. Jedd Fisch is a good coach.
Jedd the Fish.
But it's going to be one of those things where this year is going to be a struggle, and then maybe year 2, year 3, they'll be rocking and rolling.
No, I think there's no doubt about it. Jamal, how are you feeling about Washington?
No Michael Penix, no bowl game. Sorry, it's going to be just like UCLA without DTR. You're going to have your 6-year starter leave, and he's been the guy that's been running the offense. It's going to be a struggle. It's a new conference, new coach, like you mentioned, a lot of turnover. I never had the Dogs doing well going over. As soon as I found out that they were going to join the Big 12 as well, or Big 10 as well.
It's funny too. Like I'm looking at UCLA, and my thoughts on the Bruins are they're a team that is like super high variance. Like I could see things coming together for them and them having a pretty decent season that surprises everybody. And I could also see things not coming together for them and being like one of the worst teams of the Big Ten, which is kind of what everybody's expecting just based on what their profile says. The Trojans are kind of like, in my mind, I have no idea what they're going to be like. I think they're going to be pretty good, but the question marks that they have in my mind are ones that could be kind of crippling. Their defense was so bad, but they got a really good defensive coordinator now. But do they got the bodies for it?
Do they?
I think so. I think he's qualified as a pretty darn good one. I think it's good. And you can address it in a minute, Bill. And then their offense should be pretty darn good, except for they lost that douchebag Heisman winner, and who knows what the new guy's going to be, and like how good can he be? It's probably going to be good, but if they got some tough games on the schedule. I don't know what the Trojans are going to be this year. What do you guys think, Jamal? I'm going to let you start first, and then we'll go to Bill.
Yeah, no, I looked at their schedule again before they or when we saw the schedule coming out, and I mean they got a game at Michigan. They have to go to They have to go to Washington, which could be, we don't know where that could be at the end of the season. What was their other game? And then, of course, they have to host Notre Dame, play UCLA at the end like they always do. Those are going to be tough games, rivalry games. And, yeah, they're without their douchebag Heisman winner, who was pretty much the whole team last year. And now you got to expect them to turn things around. And, yeah, they got a new defensive coordinator, but I don't know if the personnel is going to turn around so quickly. So, yeah, I have USC in the top 5 of the Big Ten, but rungs below the other top 4 teams.
Yeah, just really quickly, Jamaal, they're at Las Vegas against LSU. They are at Michigan. They face Wisconsin. Penn State is at the Coliseum. They are at Washington, as you said, and then they host Notre Dame. And then they also host Nebraska too. That is not an easy schedule.
Bill, what were you saying?
Sledding.
Yeah, I mean, look, everything you guys have mentioned is totally true. But let's talk about the stuff outside of that, meaning the distractions. Right now, I've heard. I just listened to the LA Times. They just did a podcast with.
That was good.
Yeah,
that was
a
good.
That was a good podcast. But they're talking about
what is it? Because I don't know.
It's on YouTube. Search on YouTube. UCLA.
What's the famous guy from LA Times?
It was Plaschke, Bulge, and Karche.
Oh, okay.
And they were just talking about the LA teams, how they're going to do.
Okay.
And it was a roundtable, correct, Jake? But the point is it's the warm/hot seat. Probably get more hot after this season because I don't think they're going to beat LSU and some of these other ones that some of the probably USC faithful believe they should. And then there's also stupid statements by the coach saying we should get rid of Notre Dame.
Oh, everyone's hating that.
What I know that's our rival, but you would never want to say that. That's one of the strongest rivalries in all of college football.
To pick them up. I talked about that on Rain and Troy.
Imagine Deshaun Foster saying, "Oh, we want to get rid of USC."
Yeah, like are you out of your mind? So you have the outside distractions coupled with what you guys have already mentioned, right? Some of the stuff that we are totally unsure about. So that's my thought.
Jimmy.
SC went 7-5 in the regular season last year.
People forget that.
Their defense will probably be a little better this year.
Should be.
But their offense is going to be worse.
Has to be.
That douchebag Williams is gone.
Yep. I'm glad I started a trend.
So, yeah, why not? Big article in the LA Times about the new quarterback, Miller Moss, just a few days ago. And just 2 days later, there's another article in the LA Times about his backup. The transfer from UNLV.
Oh, right.
So he's waiting in the wings. He's ready to pounce. So it's not like Miller Moss is not going to be looking over his shoulder. I think that they're going to struggle. They've got a tough schedule, as has been mentioned. So I don't even have them in the top 5 in the Big Ten. No way. Middle of the road, maybe even lower division.
I have them finishing, I think, 7 or 8 wins or whatever. But it's like they lose the first 2 out of the first 3, and then they lose the game to Notre Dame at the end. But in my mind, just from what you and Bill have said, and Jamaal too, it's like I'm real curious to see how that team deals with adversity, because it seems like there's a lot of little factors that are kind of closing in on the edges to where, like I said, the thing on Lincoln Riley is kind of closing in a little bit. The thing of coming back from having douchebag leave and replace him is kind of coming in, the defense. So there's a lot of things that could crater on this team, and God willing they will. But I'm curious how this Trojan team does handle the pressure, because I think they could be good, but we'll see. Mikey, you had your thoughts too.
All of that, I agree with it, because you lose a Heisman quarterback who was amazing on the field. Just some of his moves, it's like, how the hell did he do that? I mean, you can't discredit his talent. It's insane what he did on the field, but he did not lead USC to anything really. And when you have Miller Moss as backup coming in, and there are question marks on the defense. Sure, they have Danton Lynn, and I you hate to see Danton Lynn go, but hey, he had to go where he had to go. UCLA couldn't bring up the money. Whatever, he had to do what he had to do.
Couldn't or wouldn't. Two different things.
I think at the time they couldn't.
Bullshit. But okay.
Anyway, either way, the thing is, Danton Lynn had Latu and the Murphys and Carl Jones and Muasau. They have talent on the defense, but not like that. UCLA was a top 10 defense last year. I don't think UCLA. I don't think USC has that. And same thing with Jim. I think they're middle of the road, but just below. Just a quick preview. I have USC going 5-7 this year.
Look at Mike.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
And here's the last caveat. USC is just getting all of this love simply because they are USC. Like Deshaun Foster said, both teams were unranked last year. UCLA beat USC. Miller Moss is getting attention over someone like Ethan Garbers. And as we've talked about, Jake, there is a lot of stuff that not a lot of people are looking deeply at with Ethan Garbers. And I think that's going to be a big factor for UCLA, which we'll get into soon.
No doubt. And I think, Mike, you bring up a good point in that, there is two very different ways in which these teams are entering the Big Ten. UCLA is coming in completely anonymous with a lot of just generic storylines about them losing their coach.
Their ghosts.
Their ghosts, yeah. Their quarterback's very anonymous. The stats don't even show up on the sorting sheet, all these things. And then SD comes in with all the SC-ness of it, right? All the historical baggage or whatever. And so they're getting a lot more attention. I'm curious, just give me 2 sentences each, guys, Mike and Around the Horn. Would you rather come into the Big Ten with the historical fanfare that USC is getting, but a lot of the kind of the critical baggage, or coming completely under the radar and anonymous like UCLA?
I like what UCLA is doing because USC has a lot of pressure.
Jimmy?
UCLA's
but you got to be anonymous.
Yeah. I like UCLA's position for sure. It's like a sleeping giant.
Yeah, you want to fly under the radar.
Yeah.
In most cases, I would say, you want the guy with the pressure. Like Georgia comes in, just they have the bullseye and they love it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Are there players out of jail yet?
Yeah,
just wondering.
That's all those schools.
Like Dry Fest.
All the top schools have the same issue.
Yeah.
But
Roll Tide.
But in terms of UCLA and where they are right now, it will be under the radar because you can catch them by surprise, and you can catch someone who let's take for example, just real quick. And that game was amazing. I'm sure all of us here can remember it. The LSU game where Ed, come on, what's his name? Coach Orgeron. Thank you. Ed Orgeron was just sort of making fun of the colors of UCLA, and they came out there and they lost. Right? They lost in embarrassing fashion. He lost that year. So this is one of those things where one of these bigger schools might take us for granted, and that could be in our favor. Hell, I hope it's LSU again. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see.
Me too. I'll be at that game, so Jesus. That'd be wonderful. Okay, well, good. So we all kind of think that Oregon's going to be the class of the Pac-12 teams going into the Big Ten. Do we all kind of agree that Ohio State is probably the class of the Big Ten schools that are already there? Just because I want to get to a question about Oregon or OSU, okay? Before I get to that question, of the Michigans and the Penn States, right? Michigan and Penn State, right? Which one of those two teams do you have more confidence in?
Penn State.
Penn State.
Yeah, Penn
sure.
State. Yeah.
Penn State.
Everyone said it.
That's
Sorry,
unanimous.
Jake.
Not as bad as Washington, but
I am not quite there. But okay, so give me a sentence. Why, Jimmy? Why Penn State over Michigan?
Michigan lost their head coach. Michigan is. We're hearing all these stories now about they could be hit with NCAA penalties. A lot going on. By the way, the Connor Stallions documentary dropped today.
Did you watch it already?
That's right. I've already seen it.
Was it
Oh,
good?
nice. Was it good?
It was pretty good. I wanted a little more, but it was thought provoking. So
Is it a 30 for 30?
No, it's
Untold. It's Untold.
Untold, which is Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. No, I think Michigan is going to drop down. They even have to play Ohio State in Columbus this year. I'm not expecting too much from them. So I have them in the middle of the Big Ten at best.
Jamaal, what do you think about Penn State versus Michigan?
Yeah, I have Penn State ahead. I have them behind Ohio State. The distractions of Michigan losing their head coach, coming the hangover of winning a national championship. I think it'll be all those factors against Michigan. Penn State, if you look at their schedule, their toughest game is probably at Wisconsin, having to go there before they get Ohio State at home, and then after that, they're pretty much, they just have to hold on the road games against Minnesota and Purdue. So yeah, I have Penn State being the second best of the old Big Ten, behind Ohio State.
No, that's cool. And my only reservation about that, and I'll just give the Michigan side of it, because I have them both finishing with the same conference record. So I don't know who the head was. I'm not even looking at it. I don't even know if they play this year. But if somebody could tell me that while I'm talking. But
which one? Ohio State and Penn State?
No, Michigan and Penn State. I have Michigan, Penn State.
Michigan and Penn State do not play each other.
Yeah, okay, that's it. So anyways, I am tied in the conference. But the thing that gives me a little pause on Penn State is I have no idea whether Drew Allar's going to be really good enough to be really good. Penn State has a good defense, but Michigan's bringing back a whole lot of that defense, and it just might be one of those cases where nobody can score on those sons of bitches. So, I mean, it might be one of those, they might turn in the Iowa of this year and just, kill a bunch of guys on defense and then, kind of get a bunch of wins. But I guess that all remains to be seen. Not like we're super Big Ten experts here on that. But the conference race, we all agree earlier, is going to come down to the Buckeyes or the Bucknuts, as me and Mike talked to a Bucknut last week, which is very fun. The Buckeyes versus the Ducks, quack, quack. Where are you guys at? Jamal, I'm going to come to you first. If that's going to be the conference title game, who's going to win that? Or who's going to win the regular season game, number one, and then who's going to win the conference title if we all agree that that's who's going to be in it? Jamal, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's going to be Ohio State. I think Ohio State will actually go into outs and win, and I don't think they'll have a problem beating them in the Big 12 championship or Big 10. God damn it, I keep doing that because I live in Big 12 country now. Big 10 championship game. Yeah, Ohio State's the class of the league. I know they lost to Michigan last year, but it was a tougher game than most people would give credit for. And I think Ohio State will remain the class of the conference.
Same over here. I think it's going to be Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten championship. And the reason, as I've said before, that I think Ohio State will win the Big Ten as well as the national championship is because of Chip Kelly, because all he has to do is sit at his desk, draw up some plays, and use his 4- and 5-star players to win a natty and a conference championship.
I thought he was
I think Chip Kelly is probably the worst coach in the Pac-12 right now.
But he's not in the Big 12 or not in the Pac-12 anymore.
And I thought he can sort of be kind of a dick.
Oh, he can be kind of a dick.
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say, he doesn't even have to draw up plays. He just has to get College Football 25 on a PlayStation from one of the kids, and that's it.
Man, oh man.
Easy national championship.
Mike, who wins the regular season Ducks versus Ohio State? Ohio State has to go to Autzen.
Ohio State.
Okay. Jimmy, what do you think?
Regular season, I give it to Oregon. They've been gearing up for that game ever since it was put on the schedule. Those fans up there are crazy. Ohio State won't know what hits them when they go up there, and I think Oregon will stomp them in Eugene. But they're likely to have a rematch in the championship game, and that'll be in Indianapolis. That'll be mostly Ohio State fans, and I think the result will be just the opposite.
Interesting. Two things I want to answer. First off, I think it's going to be Ohio State for the league, right? For the Big Ten. Also, I didn't get a chance to talk about Penn State. For the last question, I think Penn State.
Sorry, Bill.
No, it's all good. I think Penn State is the better of the two, just because of the keyword stability. There's something about just having a stable environment, stable coach, and not this kind of influx and all this other stuff. That's just the money should go that way in terms of betting on those two, in terms of who has the better record at the end of the year. So there you go.
So you think that Ohio State's going to win that regular season matchup and go to the Big?
Yes. No, I think they're going all the way this year. I really do. I think a lot of money's been put into that team, guys. And for as much as we hate
$20 million.
Yes. Let's just be real, guys. Money. It used to be, who can recruit the best. Now, who has the deepest pockets? And they really have deep pockets, man. And they have a tradition there. I'm telling you. And I know we hate Chip Kelly, but I swear to God, even
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
He can be a dick, but he really is a good offensive mind. And if that's all you're asking him to do, and not actually help a team grow and actually effing recruit, then he's amazing. And so I'm going to give it to them.
Money talks, baby. Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you. Oh, I brought it back.
There you go.
Back.
Good job.
Jake.
Yes.
Who's going to win?
Oh, thanks. It's funny because in my heart, I feel like the Ducks are going to win that matchup in the regular season, but it's not what I picked. I picked Ohio State because I think that they're still smarting from the ass-kicking the Ducks gave them a couple years ago. That was a big shock to everybody.
Come on, Jim. You forgot about that one. Remember that. That was at the Horseshoe.
That was at the Horseshoe. And so I just feel like it's going to be, I think that's going to be one of those, I hope it's going to be one of those great college football games, like one that we kind of remember. I hope it's as big as what they're building it up to be. But I think Ohio State's going to get over, and I think Ohio State, just because of the dick, is going to get over on the Big Ten and end up as the top-rated representative for the Big Ten in the national title hunt. Okay, that was a lot, guys. That was good. But we don't want to neglect, number one, our illustrious guest's alma mater, who has not come up in conversation at all yet. Jim, give me 2.5 minutes on your Northwestern Wildcats, who last year, their coach, new coach, coming out of a giant scandal tragedy, ended up winning Coach of the Year. How do you think they're going to do this year?
They sure did. They went from 1-11 to 8-5 in 1 year, which was pretty darn amazing.
Darn good.
And I'm expecting a decent season again. No, I mean, it's sort of like UCLA in football, Northwestern in football. They're picked for the bottom by all the so-called experts, but the experts, they don't know. They're not always right, and I don't think, and especially when it comes to Northwestern. So I think Northwestern is going to have a decent season. Won 8 games last year. I think they can do that again. I think their only sure losses are the home game against Ohio State, which is actually at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And
are you going to that game?
I am not going to that.
Are you going to any Northwestern games
Yes,
this year?
I am. In fact, just a week from Friday.
Sorry to derail you.
A week from Friday. It's a Friday night game. Northwestern hosting Duke on the lakefront, and I will be there.
That looks amazing.
That'll be fun.
Especially with the Chicago skyline way in the background.
I might be able to see that from my seat.
Yeah.
We definitely want to see some pictures.
For those that don't know, it's a makeshift stadium. It's on campus, right?
Right on campus.
Yeah,
it's the
and
practice field.
it's their practice. Kind of like with what's going on with Hawaii right now because of Aloha Stadium deteriorating and rusting. They basically had to make their practice facilities, into their actual stadium.
Hawaii's got like 9,000 seat capacity. I want to say, what is
15,000? They upped it to 50.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 9,000. They upped it to 50.
What's the Cats?
12,000.
12,000.
12,000 this year. So it's going to be nuts, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Should look really good on TV. Their first home game is this Saturday against Miami of Ohio. So I'll be watching that because it's before the Bruin game. I'll be watching that. And the Duke game will be tough. Duke has had their number. I think they've beaten them 5 times in a row. And then on my trip, the next day I'm flying from Chicago to Detroit and going to the Rams against the Lions Sunday Night Football.
Which is super kick-ass.
So that'll be my first trip of the year. Northwestern, I think, will have a decent season. The only sure losses, I was starting to say, Ohio State for sure. And I think at Michigan in November could be really tough. But I think they could do quite well with all the other games.
I am hoping so, and I don't know, Bill, Mike, Jamal, did any of you actually pick the Northwestern schedule for tonight's?
I did.
Mike, what did you have the Wildcats at?
I mean, this...
And if you didn't, don't feel bad. It's fine.
It's
I did as well. So I'll
I did, and it, like Jim said, they had a really good season last year. But just kind of like looking at, and I was using a lot of the polls to help me with this. I have Northwestern going 3-9, 1-8. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm sorry, Jim.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Jim. It's just they have a tough ass schedule too, dude.
I went to Mike first because I knew he was going to give us depressing news. I just could see it in his eyes. I'll just tell you.
No, but I mean, just analyzing the rosters. I mean, dude.
Mike,
you like you said, they had the Duke game. They're at Washington. They're at Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa, Purdue, Ohio State, Michigan. That is tough, dude. That is tough.
I beat them.
That is tough.
Maryland's going to be pretty good.
9-3. You think they'll go 9-3?
8-4. I got Northwestern.
Okay.
At 8-4.
I will tell you, Jimmy, I don't have 8-4. I don't. But I do have the Wildcats getting through the season, some of which is at Wrigley Field, some of which is on campus, some of which is on these big, long road games.
I just think that some of that might affect it, too. Just, I don't know.
6-6 and get no bowl game. Let's go, Cats.
You know, if that happens, I'd still be okay with it. Get to a bowl game, that's all good.
Very good. All right, so good. We got that out of the way. I'm happy. I want to shift to the Pac-12 teams. We're all doing great right now. The Pac-12 teams that scattered off elsewhere. Jamal, we're gonna do the finish off with the superstar Cal Golden Bears, but I want to talk a little Big 12 right now. I really have no interest in playing Arizona ever again in any sport. Although I do have a soft spot in my heart for Arizona football, even though I hate them and I hate going there.
You don't want to play him in basketball?
Never again. Me and Mike have talked about this.
You are out of luck. They're playing 3 out
I know.
of the next 4 years.
It hurts my soul that they are. I wish. I think that every time UCLA plays Arizona in anything, it makes us all a little bit less classy. That's all I'm saying. There's like spitting and fights, and Mike gets into Twitter beefs. So I don't need to talk about the Wildcats.
I can't help it if I'm right and the entire state of Arizona sans Jamal's household is wrong all the time.
That is true.
You think their fans have something to do with that opinion?
I do. I think that Arizona, pound for pound, has the least classy classiest fans in the world. But that's okay. That's okay. We can.
That's not true. That's Stanford. Stanford's fans.
No. It's actually SC.
Jamal is not at all biased to living in Tucson.
Not
Texas.
at all.
Anywho, I don't want to spend a lot of time with the Cats. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Sparky because I think Sparky's going to be in kind of a rebuilding posture too. But as far as the Big 12 goes, do any of you, and we'll start with you, Jamal, have any hot takes on either where Colorado's going to go or where Utah's going to go? I think Utah's going to win the conference. I don't have no idea what Colorado's going to be.
Yeah, same. I think the same. Yeah.
Jamal, what do you think about the Utes or the Buffs?
I think the Buffs are going to look better than they did last year. But I think Utah's going to be the class of the conference very easily. Just because the two big wigs left, right? Texas and Oklahoma, easy vacuum for Utah to fill. Some of the teams that they get to play, like Kansas State, Texas Tech, I mean, they're just not in the same league with Utah. They're, I don't even know if they play Houston this year. That'll probably be their toughest games. And they get to host Arizona. So, yeah, I think Utah will be the class. And the Buffs will be improved, but they won't be America's team like last year. I mean, it's already turning into this whole, Deion's a villain. He's keeping the media out, that kind of thing. The Buffs are not going to be well-liked this year. I guess that's a hot take.
Jimmy, what do you think?
I think the Big 12 is a total crapshoot. I mean, everybody seems to be picking Utah, and I can understand that. Cam Rising's back. Last 2 seasons he played, they went to the Rose Bowl.
The guy's literally as old as Bill is. It's crazy.
What is this, like 9th year in college football?
I think so,
right?
yeah.
So, but
special guys.
But Kansas is supposed to be pretty good. Oklahoma State is usually pretty good. None of these teams are great. None. They'll be lucky to get just one team. Well, they will get one team in the playoff. That's automatic. But I don't think they'll get even more than one necessarily.
I agree,
I think they're gonna beat each other up.
Yeah.
I think
like the old Pac-12. They're going to eat themselves.
They're the old Pac-12, yeah.
Exactly.
Billy, what do you think?
No, man, I think Utah will be the class of this conference. It's not hard to see. Whittingham is an amazing coach. First of all, guys, a little side note. When do you think that guy's retiring? Do you think he's going to retire anytime soon?
I think he's got a coach in waiting.
I think he has a deal with the devil, and he's going to live 70 more years.
They have a coach in waiting.
They do have a coach in waiting. Yeah. Hey, how great can Utah really be? Their last 2 bowl games against Northwestern beat them both times.
Well, that's good.
Last year and in 2018.
Which is awesome. To answer your question, Bill, I think that if Whittingham goes to the playoff this year, I think he's going to pull the plug. Number one, I think go out on top. Why not? Why?
Yeah, he's been there forever.
Yeah, he has. And then number 2, getting to Colorado. Did I hit everybody up? Did I get to you, Mikey?
Not yet. No.
Okay, Mikey, what do you think about this?
Just really quick. I just think Utah. Whittingham just knows the situation that he's in at all times. And he's just been super consistent. Hasn't been able to, win, the bowl games, the Rose Bowls, but this is different. I think it's Utah, and the next 6 teams are right there in the hunt, but just behind Utah. As far as Colorado, honestly, if Deion Sanders focused on the team. I think Travis Hunter, amazing. Shedeur Sanders, amazing. They're both going to get drafted next year.
That's a hot take, Mike. Give me a break.
They're going to, breaking news. But this isn't basketball. You can't Carmelo Anthony, a football team. You can't just have a stud quarterback come in there. Has he really done that much to the offensive line, to the defensive line? Does he have someone else out there in the secondary other than Hunter? Long story short, I think he's just too worried about his hubris and how he looks in the media, as opposed to actually, getting down to the nitty-gritty and having these guys play some football and be competitive.
I will just say this about the Buffs, and it's funny because I have a complete love-hate relationship with Deion and Shedeur and Hunter in that when I'm watching them play, I'm kind of hoping the team loses, but I really like those guys, and I kind of want to see them score touchdowns and do cool things. I want to see Deion tell somebody off. So I'm I'm totally conflicted. Last year, I hated the Buffs right up until they beat TCU, and then I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest team ever. And right until they played the Bruins, and I was like, oh my gosh, this sucks. So I'm totally torn. However, I'm looking at their schedule, And I could see them once again, like kind of pulling off a couple things and like looking kind of good. But they end the season ranked as of right now. Preseason rankings are stupid, but ranked Kansas, ranked Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, ranked Utah, ranked Kansas, ranked Oklahoma State. Like they could be looking at 1-7 down the stretch or something. And then, where's Dion going to be? And the other thing is, this is my last question on this, and then we're going to move to the ACC. On a scale of 1% to 100%, what is the percentage chance that Neon Deion Sanders, the coach of your Colorado Buffaloes, is in Boulder next year coaching football? Jimmy, what do you think?
20% tops.
20%?
1%.
1%?
I was going to say 25.
Jamaal?
10.
-72 is my action. There's zero chance. He is this is the biggest, what do you call it when you're leading somebody or stringing them along or whatever, he's completely sandbagging this situation. There's no way he's coaching there next year, the way that he set this up. He doesn't recruit. His kids graduating, his adopted kids graduating. He is out, right?
Yeah.
And oh my God. And by the way, second only to the classlessness of Arizona, the Colorado Buff fans, or just their media. The fans are cool. They're all high and cool.
Totally.
But that one media guy, the DNVR, oh my God, they're just so out there. So I'll be happy to see them fold. Jamaal, we have the lovely Golden Bears going to the ACC. It's just
California, here we come.
It's actually East Coast, here we come. East Coast.
California, here we come.
Go Megan.
California, here we come.
Megan, it was in her band. I'll show you Godfather in a minute. I have a picture of her in her band uniform. We're going to go up and see her this weekend as they play the Aggies of UC Davis. And we're going to see her playing her trumpet for the first time for the Cal band. I'm very excited. But with that being said, Jamaal, give me a couple minutes on how you think the Bears, and we all know Jamaal is a self-loather. Tell us your most pessimistic take on the Bears, or be optimistic if you want. I don't care. It's your choice.
4-8. I have them at 4-8. They have a tough schedule.
Keep going.
They'll beat Davis, and then they won't win again until probably Syracuse, and then they'll probably beat Stanford. I know they'll be SMU. That's not even a real school. They'll beat SMU. But no, they just have a tough schedule. I mean, they got to host San Diego State right after going to Auburn. They got to go to Florida State. I know Florida State lost to Georgia Tech, but they still got to do that. And then they got to host Miami the next week and then go to Pitt after that. It's real. And they have to host Oregon State, which is just – that's always like a trap game for the Bears. Cal fans will remember when they were ranked number 2.
I would not want to be playing the Pac-2 this year, right? I don't want to play the Pac-2 this year. They're going to be angry people. That's an angry beaver.
So, and you know what? The optimistic part for me is Jaden Ott goes off, and he's like a Doak Walker type candidate. And even though he had a terrible line last year, and he was the best running back in the Pac-12. Most of those guys are gone, and they've kind of redone their line. So I'm optimistic about that. The Cal defense was number 1 in takeaways last year, 28 takeaways, but Cal also had 28
number 1
giveaways.
in what? The pack or the
in the nation?
Jesus.
They were number 1 in the nation in takeaways. Yeah, exactly. So, and that defense is going to be strong, but I always worry about the offense. Francisco Mendoza came out. He came out of nowhere. What was he? The third stringer. Couldn't even get recruited to Yale and turn things around and got them in a bowl game. But then you saw in the bowl game that they struggled against Texas Tech, and that's just Bear fandom in a nutshell. Get your hopes up and then get them dashed. I am hopeful because they're going to the ACC. They've been able to go. They beat North Carolina over in North Carolina. They've beaten them at home. They've done things against ACC teams recently and been able to go on the road and then just fail miserably in the Pac-12 afterwards. But I still have them going 4-8. At least they'll beat Stanford because Stanford's horrible. So
Jamaal, I'm looking at the schedule. I think you're being very pessimistic.
Very pessimistic, indeed. Cal is going to a bowl game this year for sure. They got Jaden Ott is terrific. The defense, like you said, is good. And moreover, The ACC sucks.
Trash.
Just trash. And this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to Cal, not having to face these other Pac-12 schools. They may clean up in the ACC.
I don't know about that. I really
Jamal,
don't.
you don't play Florida State. You play Miami. Who knows?
We do
what
play
Miami-
Florida State.
Wait, where you do?
They play Florida State at Florida State. The week.
Oh yeah, you
they do.
All right.
The
Oh, you
week
play Florida
before,
State, Miami back to back. Jamal,
2 weeks.
You're going to
There's
get that.
only 2 losses, only 2 sure losses of the season.
It's just like UCLA. They're all consolidated in the middle and the early. That's fine, dude. You're good. You're good, man.
Yeah.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Well,
that at Auburn, like count that as a dub right now, dude. Come on. Are you going any?
Well, they couldn't beat Auburn last year at home. That's
that
the problem.
Was
They
the
should
most
be in Auburn at
goddamn
home.
depressing game I think I've ever watched.
Yes.
That was so terrible.
Yes.
Jamal,
And they finally figured it out, and they put in Mendoza, and they were much better. But
yeah, good enough to
look at the bowl game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you going to any games this year?
No, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to any games this year. I haven't even looked or asked for time off for the schedule.
That's great. Great work, Jamal. Way to be prepared. Anywho,
Sorry.
Okay, good. Go Bears, number 1.
Go Bears!
Yes,
I'm going to go to at least one more game than you, it looks like then. And,
Yes.
everybody pray for Megan. She's going to be there in her band outfit.
Is she going to be in the basketball band too?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I don't
A
see why
straw
she wouldn't
hat
be.
band.
She has a straw hat.
Oh,
she's about to get ready to
that's a
decorate
cool
it.
band.
We got to get her a Megatron pin to put onto the straw hat band straw hat. I screwed that up. But yeah, she's ready to go. She's rocking and rolling, and it's very exciting. Okay, good, guys. We're almost done with this massive segment, which has been amazing. I'm very thankful. I fed Bill, and he's still awake. We're in good shape. We're going to finish the segment with just real quick, right? We all agree that Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten. We're fine there, so we don't need that pick. I want to know. How many teams are going to be. We're going to be in the college football playoff. Number 1. How many Big Ten teams in the college football playoff, and which ones do you think they are?
College football playoff.
Because I think we all think the Big Ten's going to put some teams in the college football playoff, other than the mandatory one. So, Jimmy, you ready for that? I'll start with you. Let her rip.
I'll give it a shot. 3 for sure.
Okay.
Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State.
Yep.
Penn State. If we had a 12-team playoff over the last 10 years, the 10 years that we had a 4-team playoff.
Yeah.
I heard a stat that Penn State would have made it 6 times.
Yeah, which is terrific. Yeah.
They've always been on the cusp. They've always been just slightly behind a couple other teams in the Big Ten. Those 3, and they might be the only 3. I just don't believe in Michigan. Next up, who's next behind them? Maryland? I don't know.
I'm real curious.
I don't know.
I'm curious to see how the rest of the country works out to where does it give the Big Ten an opportunity to slip a 4th team in there, right? I don't know. Before I get to you, Mike, I want to add this question onto it as I go around as well. You gave me your Big Ten playoff teams. Do you have a strong feeling as to who's going to win the national title, period, end of story, Jimmy?
As of today, I think I got to pick Ohio State.
That's right.
It's a shame.
Like most people. They just seem loaded.
They're loaded.
Like Bill was saying.
Big Ten country.
So much
Right
money
here in
involved.
Los An- in
And
Los
they
Angeles.
even stole a few Alabama players, made me sick. Caleb Downs, who is an incredible defensive back. He was a
Which is nuts, right?
great
Ohio
freshman
State,
last year
that
for
tells you.
Alabama, and now he's at Ohio State. They took a couple other guys too, so I'm sad about that. I'm not happy about the Buckeyes with Chip Kelly. It's hard to root for them, but I think they're going to be really tough to beat.
One more time.
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
Mikey, what do you think? Big Ten playoff teams and your national champion.
I did state it already. I think Ohio State is going to win, but I think the Big Ten is going to have 4 teams in it because aside from Ohio State going 12-0, I have Oregon, Penn State, and Iowa going 11-1 and 8-1 in conference.
Yikes. Okay, well, there you go. And then you said Ohio State's going to win the national title. Thank you, Mikey.
Jamal? But what are you going to do about the fact that the Bruins are going to beat Iowa here on November 8th?
Nice.
I don't have that, but it'll be close. It'll be close.
You know what's funny, Jim? I have the Bruins beating Iowa, and I have them at 10-2, and I have them going to the playoff.
Oh,
so I'll just give mine real quick.
Oh,
God.
No. Not UCLA going to the playoff. I have Iowa
Oh.
getting beat by the
Oh,
Bruins,
okay.
but going 10-2 and being in the playoff. That's what I have. With
Okay,
Iowa.
I thought you were saying.
So how many Big
Bruins.
Ten teams do you have?
I have 4, just like you.
Okay,
I have
cool.
your same. I have Ohio State, Ohio State
yeah.
as the national champion
Yeah.
and in the playoff Oregon in the playoff, Penn State in the playoff, Iowa also at 10-2 with Penn State, making it into the playoff kind of barely. But and then I guess I already said my picks. Jamaal, what do you think?
I have Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State going to the playoff, but I don't have Ohio State in the national championship game.
Ooh.
I think the SEC will figure out a way to get Alabama and Georgia to play in the national championship game. Just call it a hunch.
Do you think DeBoer's going to the national championship game? Wow, that'd be a big.
I hope you're right.
Will enough Bulldogs be on parole at that time?
Yeah, I think they'll figure it out. I'm telling you.
They'll figure it out.
They've hoodwinked us enough to have these teams constantly play in this 4 playoff team format. They're gonna figure it out a way to get them both in the championship game for this 12-team playoff. The SEC is evil. It's an evil organization. So,
please.
You know, Paul Feinbaum is gonna be harping on his radio show and his platform, ESPN. But yeah, no, I think Big Ten is definitely gonna have 3 teams in the playoffs. So
it's funny the Big Ten. If the Big Ten gets 4, then the SEC is gonna demand 6. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Billy B,
exactly.
What do you got?
Figure it out.
Same as The Godfather. Just those top 3. I don't think 4 are going to come in because of Jamal's evil empire statement about the SEC. I do. I still think they're going to try to figure out ways to get as many people in. Big 12 is going to have 1. I think that's an ACC is going to have 1.
Yeah.
Right. And that's so the max amount's going to come from the Big Ten and the SEC. And I think somehow, some way, SEC will get more. So I say 3 for Big Ten. That's going to be Ohio State, which I think is going to win it all. Penn State and Oregon.
Wonderful. Very good. All right. So we're done with this giant conference section. I do want to talk about UCLA
But
now.
we didn't talk about Alabama.
Jim, do you have thoughts on Alabama? How do you think Kalen DeBoer is going to do in his first year there? I know you and Bill are the biggest Alabama fans.
Roll Tide.
I know.
I'm going to 3 of their games this year.
Oh,
I'm
I forgot
fired
to
up.
ask you, yeah.
But they have you talk about a tough schedule. That's a tough schedule. On the road, at Wisconsin, at Tennessee, at LSU, what else? And at Oklahoma. Those are tough. Those are some tough road games. Not to mention home games against Georgia and Missouri. So it's a really tough schedule for a first-time coach there. You know, in a totally new environment for him. But he's been a great coach everywhere he's been. They're going to find a way to win a lot of those games, and I hope they make it to the SEC championship game. I think it's very possible.
I hope that you get to watch Alabama win all the games you want them to win, Jim. I don't have any special draw towards the Tide, but I really don't hate them as much as I used to. Although if you had to make me pick an SEC team, it would certainly be the Tigers because I'm from Louisiana. But
I'm obligated.
Brian
to
Kelly,
but not
please.
this year. But not this year.
Please.
Not this year. We're gonna go beat those Tigers. So that's all right.
I'm obligated to pick Alabama.
Very good. Okay, so let's get to now. We got all these other teams out of the way. I want to focus in on some UCLA. So let's get to the Bruins.
Blue 32, Blue 32, California, hood, hey! Football.
Okie dokie. So the Bruins are actually playing football again this season, and it's the first season in the Big Ten, as we've been talking about all flippin' night. And man, it could be something. Like, you look at what me and Mike have been talking about for the last couple of months. It's like the Bruins come into this season relatively anonymous to all of the national outlets that didn't cover UCLA beforehand. You look at they lost their coach to to another team in your new conference. You lost your defensive coordinator to your rivals. You lost a bunch of players to the NFL and to your rival, and then you hired a coach a month after the cycle ended, and you got an offensive coordinator. The only thing that the most well-known person on your entire team is your offensive coordinator, who actually hasn't may or may not have ever actually called plays except for 1 year last year in Washington. But anyways, the generic storyline for the Bruins is, they got Eric Bieniemy, and they're going to be last or second to last or third to last in the Big Ten. That's what the word on the street is. But I know that at least some of the people at this table feel differently about that. I think we all probably feel differently than they're going to be one of the last place teams in the Big Ten. I think, maybe. I don't know. I haven't talked to Bill yet. So I'm going to go around the table and we're going to start with what our range of outcomes is for the Bruins this year, like what your record is for the Bruins. But just keep in mind, things like this. This is what you hear if you listen to shows across the country on the Bruins.
Our UCLA range of outcomes is massive. Could be the worst team in the Big Ten. Could be a pretty competitive team that's going to be a tough out, especially when you got to go play them on the road.
I've got a 3-way tie for last place. The worst of the bunch, and I'm saying by overall record, is UCLA, 2-10, 1-8 in the Big Ten.
Wow. UCLA could be the worst team in the league this year. So
UCLA, who's very beatable this year.
And then the last one here, this is the outlier.
Did they say UCI?
Is this an 11-1 team that's going to the playoff with a shot at the Natty?
Silly. It actually was in relation to UCLA, believe it or not. Guys, just with the idea of what's going on as far as like where they're coming in, pictured nationally, but then how you feel about them. Jimmy, where do you think the Bruins are this year? What's your record prediction for them? What do you think your key moments of the schedule is for them?
I think the Bruins are going to have a good season. I really do. They're going to start off. They're going to beat Hawaii. They're going to get Indiana at home. And just as an aside, I think this is a little interesting. When I was a freshman at Northwestern back in 1966, the very first game I ever attended there, first Big Ten game, was Northwestern hosting Indiana.
Yikes.
That's sort of crazy.
Here we go.
Of course, Northwestern lost
the
that
symmetry.
game.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear that.
That wasn't good. But Indiana stinks. You've got other teams in the Big Ten.
Thank you.
That stink. Purdue is no good. Minnesota is no good. Illinois is no good. I mean, there are a lot of teams in the Big Ten that are just garbage.
But the Big Ten is so much better than the Pac-12, Jim.
Oh, please.
How do you?
At the top.
You're making me mad, Jim.
I hear what you're saying. At the top, the Big Ten is good. Ohio State and Oregon, they're really good. Penn State, pretty darn good. But the rest of the conference, not so great. So I got the Bruins at 9-3.
Whoa! Oh my God!
Damn.
I've got the Bruins winning their first 2 games. Then you got the 3-game stretch, which you asked what's the key to the season.
Yeah.
I think that's the key to the season. And I think the
at
Bruins,
LSU, hosting Oregon, at Penn State.
I like the Bruins to win one of those games.
Wow.
I think they can, but I'm just realistically, those three teams seem really good and really competitive.
Well,
but I have a feeling this isn't a Chip Kelly team where they lose a game they're supposed to win, because Chip Kelly never won a game that he was supposed to lose. I think this is different, and that might be a possibility.
LSU, I think, is the one that the Bruins really can win. The best the best seasons.
I think so too.
The best seasons LSU has had in recent years were when they had Heisman Trophy winners.
Yeah,
either Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, yeah.
Obviously, they were tremendous that season in the 2019 season, but they don't have those guys anymore.
They're kind of like SC going into the season in that they had a defense that wasn't very good last year, and they're replacing a Heisman guy.
And what happened after Joe Burrow left? LSU came to the Rose Bowl, and the Bruins kicked their ass.
Keyshawn Boutte still feeling that ass kicking.
So LSU, and they got Brian Kelly as their coach. He nobody's writing any great books about him. So I think the Bruins can pull that upset off, and I think after that, okay, they lose 2 of those 3 games, and I think they only lose 1 game the rest of the way, whether it's Washington or at Nebraska, something like that.
Go Bruins!
But the Bruins they're gonna do just fine.
I'll tell you this. I did not expect to start with that from The Godfather. I probably would have saved him for last, because I thought that was going to be coming from the Mike area range or whatever. That's all good. You never know. You never know what to expect.
I got the Bruins in 5th in the Big Ten, 5th out of 18 teams, behind only Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Maryland.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and forget Iowa. Iowa going to the playoffs, please.
I'm just worried that they're going to have some offense this year, and their defense should be pretty good. But that's good.
I'm not worried about them.
Jim, I will freaking take that. Let's go Bruins.
Go Bruins!
So Jim is on the scale of miserable, right? Which is.
I've got a 3-way tie for last place. The worst of the bunch, and I'm saying by overall record, is UCLA.
Or on that scale to this scale.
Is this an 11-1 team that's going to the playoff with a shot at the Natty?
Jim's closer to that. That's pretty crazy. Jamal, where you land?
I got UCLA going 7-5.
Oh, hey, all right.
Yeah, I crunched the numbers. And
Go ahead, Jamal.
And it's a lot of the same analysis as Jim, is the fact that I think the Big Ten is top heavy and the rest sucks. Problem is the UCLA is going to play that top heavy team, those top heavy teams minus Ohio State. So it'll be a struggle. But my key is not that LSU, Oregon, Penn State stretch. It's the weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
Where they get to host Minnesota. They have to go to Rutgers. I'm not afraid of Rutgers, but you have to go all the way to the Atlantic coast to win.
Basically, Nyok.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got to go to Nebraska after that, which will be their closest Big Ten game. And I'm not afraid of Nebraska, but again, it's that weird travel. It's that's not November 3rd. God knows how horrible Nebraska is when it starts to get cold down there. And then, of course, they get to host Iowa. And to me, that's kind of like I guess the measuring stick for them. I don't think Iowa's offense was so terrible last year, despite winning 10 games. But Jake, you're right; their defense is really good. So if at that point they're coming into a situation where they're having a really positive season, maybe they upset LSU, maybe they gave Oregon a good game, maybe they gave Penn State a game. That Iowa game is going to be the measure stick for the rest of the season because I have them losing to Washington and USC. So, so if they pull off a four game win streak after that tough hoe with LSU, Oregon, and Penn State, I think they can have the confidence to beat Washington and USC, but that's where talent has to start coming in, and I don't know if they have the same talent as Washington, as depleted as they are, or USC, as little faith I have in them.
Yeah, I would love it if they could get one of those 3 big games, but I'm not counting on it at all. But I agree with you, Jamal. I think that most important stretch is how do they come out of that 3-game gauntlet, whether they're 1-2 or 0-3 or whatever. How do they play after that? That's huge. I mean, if they still, I feel like this is a team that could peak towards the end of the season, and I'm looking forward to that. Bill?
I have them at 6-6. I have them beating USC, but losing.
Still bowl game, baby.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, Bill.
No, I haven't beating USC, but I have them losing to Washington.
Go Bruins!
I do too. I do too.
Yeah, and I have them beating.
Why do you guys think they're going to lose to Washington? Just curious. I know it's up there.
It's at Washington.
It's in Seattle.
That's the thing for me.
And it's going to be a night game in mid-November.
Yeah,
so it is going to be cold, probably miserable
I have them losing
conditions.
there, and I actually have them beating Fresno.
That's a good Fresno.
No, because remember,
hold
Fresno.
on. Pronounce it right.
Fresno.
No.
So remember, and I'm not going to say RIP, but
I'm
he's
terrified of that
not
Fresno
doing
game.
well. Jeff Tedford's not doing well. So they don't have Jeff Tedford. They don't have DeBoer. And all, they don't have a lot of the things that they had before that sort of kept them going. And so by
But
the
they
end
have
of
a lot
the
of
year,
angry fans that'll bark at you.
I understand, but is it at UCLA?
It's at the Rose Bowl, yeah.
Yeah.
Rose
So
Bowl.
I mean, I think that's a game we can win.
Hey, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Mikey, how about you?
I have UCLA going at 7-5, and I just had it right here. I have them beating Hawaii, beating Indiana. Oh, where did it go? They're losing those. I just think that's going to be a daunting 3-game stretch. Wins against Minnesota, Rutgers, Nebraska, USC, and Fres. Yes, so 7-5.
Very good. And I'm right there. So Jimmy, you were the big money winner here as far as like optimism for the Bruins. You said 9.
I did.
Holy smokes! So we got 9-3, 6-6 from Bill, 7-5 from Mikey. Jamal, you were 7-5 as well.
Yes.
And I'm 7-5 as well too. However, I had to like noticeably. I was like, I'm shocked it's coming to this table with you fine gentlemen, and that I'm like in the middle of this. I thought I was going to be more on the optimistic side.
You were going 10-2.
No. That was earlier. I was talking about Iowa. I thought Iowa was 10-2. But I'm saying the Bruins are 7-5. But you could very easily talk me into more wins than that if they steal one on that 3-game stretch. If they come out of that, I put down that they're losing to Nebraska. But honestly, if Dylan Raiola isn't that great, I could totally see them winning that game. If the UCLA offense is
Nebraska
good,
named Raiola their starter. That's the freshman starter. I don't know about that.
They could be right in the middle of a Dante Moore situation themselves, right? And then all of a sudden, 3 games in, they're not feeling that good anymore.
Is Dante Moore the second string.
Yeah, he's QB2.
He's QB2.
Oh, of course he is. But he wanted to go somewhere where he could develop. So God bless him and good luck to him. And then the Fresno game, I have it down as a loss, but I totally, it hurt me to put it down as a loss. I totally hope and think they should. I just am worried about that trap game after the rivalry game, which they often fall victim to, which sucks. But, oh, God, I hate that stupid Fresno State game. But, hey, guys, all of us think the Bruins are going bowling. And if the Bruins go bowling this year, we already talked about how anonymous they were, how do you think that spins the program forward coming to the Big Ten? That would obviously exceed the expectations of everybody except for us. So, what do you think that does for them after this year?
Recruiting, Jake. They go to a bowl game. Let's say you had them at 7-5, 6-6, 7-5. When they're expected to be at the bottom of the Big Ten, recruits are going to be like, oh, damn, Bieniemy can do some stuff. Keke Malo, he continued what Lynn did. I'm gonna look to UCLA a little bit more. I think that's gonna be a huge factor.
And then, like I said, if they go 9-3, like Jim's saying, I mean that would be matching Mora's record in his first year, right? If they go 9-3, guys, just answer me this question. We come back to the percentage chance of Dion being in Colorado next year. What's the percentage chance of Eric Bieniemy being at UCLA in 2025 if the Bruins, have one of these special seasons, 9, 10, 11 wins, something like that, which is not even the realm of possibility in my opinion. But he's gone, right? He's basically parlaying this job into a chance to get a head coaching job somewhere, right?
Yeah. And if you said a special one, so 9, I don't think 9-3 is special enough.
9 would be special for this Bruin team.
Absolutely. For him to get a job. No. You're saying for him to get a job, it have to be 10 plus wins. For this, if they go 10 plus wins, that brother is going back to the NFL. I'm telling you, man.
Well, the NFL hasn't been interested in giving him a head coaching job.
I'm wondering if he's looking for a college head coaching job now since the NFL was so dry.
If you're suggesting Deion Sanders is gone, Colorado is his alma mater.
Oh, God, you just put
there it is. Wait, breaking news. Breaking news.
Oh, shit. What's brewing?
Godfather. Genius.
Breaking news.
You're joking me right now.
Psychic breaking news from the North Valley.
Here it is.
Eric Bieniemy takes the Colorado job.
The storyline, according to the Godfather, Jim Bendat, is the Bruins go 9-3 in 2024, leading to Eric Bieniemy getting a job offer as Dion vacates the Colorado Buffaloes as he goes 2-10.
And the following year, UCLA goes 3-9.
Yeah, that's the sad part is they're going to lose a lot. But that's amazing. Dude, guys, we did it right there. We connected the dots. All right. In all seriousness, coming back to what the Bruins have next year, talking about where they would be if they had a good season, and given the expectations, 9-3 to me, it would be a very special season for the Bruins, in my opinion. But whoever it is, the players, the coaches, given where they're at now, reputation-wise, are there any Bruins on this roster or staff that are up for any awards other than they might make a Big Ten team here and there or whatever? I'm not talking about the All Big Ten team. I'm talking about who on this squad. And Jamaal, I'll start with you. Whoever you want to nominate, you think has a chance to win some sort of award, either an individual Big Ten award or a national award. What do you think? Anybody have anybody?
I'd say J. Michael Sturdivant.
Go Bears!
Every time he touched the ball last year, he looked like a special player out there. But obviously, the quarterback situation was so terrible they couldn't get the ball to him a lot of times. So yeah, I would say J. Michael Sturdivant could easily be one of those guys, especially if he gels with Ethan Garbers.
Jamaal, I did forget to ask you, and that's a good. I think J. Mike is a good candidate for something. Who we forgot about this with Cal? Who's in the Golden Bear pipeline to come to the Bruins next year? Because I know that we like getting all your players. So we had J. Mike, we have Oladejo. Who's next? What's next on the roster?
Jaden Ott, if you guys are lucky.
Oh, God. Does he have eligibility left?
I don't know.
Here we go. All right.
Go to graduate school.
Mikey, do you have any Bruins that are up for any sort of awards in your opinion?
I don't know. I have a feeling that
no one's winning the Heisman, but something else.
But I think TJ Harden could get some all conference I think the quarterback competition in the Big Ten is going to be thick, but I think Ethan Garbers could maybe get a second team. Either way, like I said last week or a few weeks ago, I think Ethan Garbers is going to play his way into an NFL draft selection.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Billy, what do you think?
No awards, but I agree with what Mike said about Ethan Garbers. Meaning, I think he's going to he's under the radar, and I think he's going to play very well. But he's not winning any awards. He's not going to get
Like
anything
a
national or Big
Drew
Ten.
Olsen style year?
Yeah, but it's gonna help him in terms of his draft. So that's the best I can give you. That's it.
I think it's totally fair. Godfather, what do you think?
I don't know about awards either, but I'm looking for big seasons from Ken Medrano on defense, and
Yeah,
definitely
that's Mikey's guy.
Right.
and definitely Harden on offense. I mean, the enemy was a running back.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get coached up. Harden's going to get coached up, and I think the passing game will be fine. So I think the running game with Harden has got to be big.
I couldn't agree more about that point. And we have Harden, who I played the horns twice already, and then we have Mr. Jones. And we have Tasty Burger, Jalen Burger as well. I don't have the drop on the board. Whatever, I'll put that there later. But
that is a tasty burger.
Thank you, Mikey. I am looking forward to how this run game goes. So there's been like some undercurrents of, they're going to just throw to the backs and not run. I don't think that's true. I think they're going to run the ball, and I think they're going to run the ball well. But as far as answering the question of the awards, I don't think there are any Bruins, other than hopefully they make some all Big Ten teams, second teams, third teams, or whatever. Hopefully they're represented on those teams just fine. But as far as the big individual awards, I don't think there's anybody on the roster that is in the running for anything just because they're so under the radar. But if the Bruins, even if they just go bowling, I think there's going to be some people sniffing around at Deshaun Foster for possible in the running for Coach of the Year, a la your coach last year getting Coach of the Year for the turnaround they had with the Wildcats, although that was a pretty good season. What did they end up? What was their record last year?
8-5.
8-5, yeah. So, I mean, if they turn in some sort of record like that, I think Deshaun Foster is like absolutely going to be up for like a Coach of the Year job, which I think would be very cool and well deserving. So, here's hoping for that. All right, couple more things I want to get to. We're going to our Magic Man, and then we're going to do some listener feedback, and then we'll shut this episode down and get to the Hawaii preview. But guys, as far as UCLA slogans this year, Deshaun Foster's been throwing around his DRE thing. Mike, they refer to DRE.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what DRE stands for?
Discreteness, resourcefulness, and edumacation. No, I'm just kidding. It's discipline, respect, and enthusiasm.
Thanks, Mike. That's why he's the best in the business, folks.
It's not that's defense and
bring it back around.
Run around the end.
No, that'd be nice too. Right. But there's a lot of I meant to
damn fine, respectably hot, and earthy.
Nice try, Mike. What is it for real, though, again, Mike? Give me one more time.
God, no, I'm blanking. God damn it, Jake. Discipline, respect, and enthusiasm.
Right. And so their kind of slogan has been a little bit of like, I forgot to put the drop here, but I mean, the famous Dr. Dre, forgot about Dre, the chorus there, right? What's the better slogan for the year? We got the forgot about Dre or something in with that, or you get Deshaun Foster like standing up there at Big Ten Media Day and he turned a loss into at least like a draw. Wrong song. It's a wrong song.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a wrong song. That's okay. But it is Dre. It is a Dre song.
Yes.
We have we're in LA. Which something Dre related or we're in LA related?
I think both of them are not. I don't like either one of
ideal?
them. I don't like either one of them, guys. But I would stick with the Dre because you could do a song. You'll play a song off of it. You can.
I kind of agree with that. Although the T-shirt is pretty cool.
We're in LA.
You didn't like it? What do you think?
The We're in LA, I liked it because of the fact that he alluded to his little gaffe at Big Ten Media Day.
But I still wouldn't make it a slogan. I wouldn't make it like
exactly,
a thing.
Exactly.
Okay, he's trying to play.
He did a one-time thing. He hasn't brought it up. Nobody's brought it up since.
So there you go.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Jamal, do you have any thoughts on that?
No.
Okay, very good. So, look, I want to get to the Magic Men. Over the years, we've picked Magic Men. The very original Magic
That's
Man.
right, guys.
Mike, don't get us banned off of YouTube. We can't. That's fine, though. I appreciate it. You can't have the whole riff there.
Just exactly. That's tidbits.
The Magic Man.
The original Magic Man, guys.
Now you see me.
Here we go.
You don't.
Original.
Bill, tell the story of the original Magic Man real quick before we get to who our Magic Men are.
I met one of the brightest and biggest,
shortest
stars.
Bill was so excited, and then he looked down at him.
I was like, "Where is he? Where?" Holy shitty small.
Bill, where were we? Where were we first?
You had actually ponied up like usual for UCLA, and we got invited to a brunch where you get to meet and greet with a lot of the players.
Yes,
and he was there. We met Carl Durrell. He was very nice, and
very
pleasant.
charismatic.
Very nice and pleasant. And I'm looking around, I was like, where is he? Where is he? He was our top rated recruit out of Long Beach Poly, a 4-star named Terrence freaking Austin. And when I went, and you and I were looking up, and all of a sudden we looked down, and there he is.
And Bill's like, I'm so happy you came to UCLA.
I'm like, thank you so much for coming.
And considering, Bill, you're what, 6'2"?
I'm 6'1", and Jake's like 6'3", and we both looked down. And Jake's shaking his head. I'm like, thank you so much. You have no idea. This means so much.
And this kid's like, thank you, sir.
Yeah. And here's the thing. At UCLA, like
he's fine.
He was fine. He was a punt returner. He did a couple things, but he actually had a career in the NFL. He played in the then were the Redskins. What are they called now? The Commanders?
Commanders.
Yeah, he played for the Redskins. So there you go. That was my first one. But did he have the career that I thought he would have? The answer is no. But was he still a Bruin and always will be a Bruin? The answer is yes.
And every time Bill saw him on TV, he'd be like, Magic Man.
Magic Man.
That was wonderful.
It's Magic Man.
So over the years, former Magic Men have been people like, DTR, Josh freaking Kelly.
Charbonnet,
right, all those guys. So going into this year, we're going to go with one Magic Man on offense, one Magic Man on defense. I would just like you to give your Magic Man in the following format. My Magic Man on offense, and I will play the drop.
It's Magic Man.
And then you will say who it is and why, and then we'll do the same thing for defense. So
right,
we're going to start. Bill, as the originator of the Magic Men.
Yes.
You got first crack at it. Who are your Magic Men for UCLA football in 2024?
My Magic Man for offense.
The Magic Man.
Is Logan Loya.
Oh my gosh, Logan Loya.
Why? Mr. Butterfingers himself
He's
last
baller,
year
man.
is going to change it up. I'm telling you. He's
Butterfingers,
learned.
but he was the top receiver. Crazy,
yeah, but
right?
he still dropped a lot of... Mike, don't get me started on how many times he dropped the ball. Okay? So I think this year...
Wait, who threw the ball? Was that a Dante Moore pass? Oh, probably.
This is so good.
Sometimes, yeah. They were Dante Moore passes right to the effing number sometimes. That's what pisses me off. So the idea is Logan Loya will make up for last year and become this year's insane Magic Man for offense.
The Magic Man. Now you see me? Now you don't.
This is perfect, too, because just last night we got word that Logan Loya had gone from the leading receiver for the Bruins last year in 2023 to no better than number 4 on the depth chart.
There you go.
He's barely on the 2 deep right now. But, I mean, with that being said, it's a very crowded receiver room.
But
this is a perfect setup for Bill's Magic Man.
This is Bill's... Understand this, people out there. Bill's Magic Men rarely ever do well.
Yeah, so if he's going to put the jinx on somebody, it's good. That it's not on the 2D.
Okay, so Logan, but this is a real Magic Man on the other side. On the defensive side,
it's Magic Man.
It's Oladejo.
Oh, this stole my guy.
I
have to fight over.
I didn't even tie.
It's
fine.
okay.
But
No,
it
you
might be Jamal's guy.
I
it might be Jamal's guy.
I think we should alter the rules because we have so many guys this year. If we overlap, we overlap.
Oh, we have to overlap. That's fine.
What you guys are doing? See, Jake, what Jake is doing is unjinxing my jinx.
That's true.
So Oladejo will probably have a good year.
God, I hope so. He's so big and strong and powerful.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. I'm
so
done.
I'll just get my Magic Man
Go,
on
Jake.
defense out of the way because it is Oladejo. So very good. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
And go Oladejo. And I want to see him make lots of tackles and come off the edge and be the middle linebacker and just be super stunning and awesome as he always is. Godfather, do you have a Magic Man?
Oh, wait. Offense.
Well, no. If it comes back around me, I'm saying I got rid of my defense one because Bill was already there.
All right.
So anyways.
Fine.
Godfather, do you have
you're
any
ready.
My
candidates?
Magic Men are the same two that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
T.J. Harden.
Oh, wow.
On offense.
The Magic Man.
We're going to play the whole thing. T.J. Harden. Very good. Very good, Jim.
And on defense, Cam Madrano.
How dare
well,
you?
there we go.
How dare
All
you?
right. That's his Magic Man?
No,
The Magic
actually,
Man. Now you
it's a
see
great
me?
choice.
Now you don't.
I have a feeling Mike agrees with that one, maybe, but we'll see. Jamal, who are your Magic Men?
It's Magic Man.
I already mentioned one, Sturdivant. I really feel like he's going to
The Magic Man.
And obviously because he went to Cal. And Oladejo, Mike.
Oh, my God.
Right in the middle there.
Oh my gosh.
He's re-jinxed it. That's 3. That's uneven. That's uneven. Jamal's re-jinxed it.
God dang it, Jamal. Man,
I picked. Hey, man, I picked another middle linebacker like you guys. So yeah, those are my magic men.
Okay, there we go. Mikey,
Mhm.
it's your time to shine. Who are your magic men?
It's Magic Man.
For
First off,
2024.
offense. Ethan, gonna set the world on fire. Garbers.
My name is
Ethan.
Just call me E.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad he's getting some love because we've been spending all offseason talking about how under the radar he actually is.
Exactly.
So sure,
And-
Ethan Garber's Magic Man.
And just like
Perfect.
Mr. Bendat right next to me, Mr. Kane Madrano, who's going to
It's Magic Man.
10 sacks on the season.
10?
Sacks on the
10?
season.
Yeah,
Wait.
he's going to clean up.
10 sacks on the season.
That's a lot of
I'm
sacks.
saying
Give
that.
him 12.
I'm saying that.
One- one
he
per game.
just raised me. He
One
just
per
raised me.
game.
Wow.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right,
You guys are next level right now.
let's
man.
go. That's a little dude getting a lot of sacks, but I'm all about that. That's good. All right, good. Very good. I mean, look, it's come back around to me. I had Oladipo for my defensive guy, agreeing with Bill and Jamal.
A magic man.
Look, it just something about this team. Like, there's a lot of guys that I'm rooting for that I want to see do well. But on offense, I think if you told me like who do I want to see really excel every single darn game, it would be Garbers or Harden. So there's not a lot of suspense here, I guess. But yeah, I'll just go with Harden as well. Very overlapping Magic Men this year. So what are you going to do, guys?
Not Logan Loya. I was the outlier with that one.
Bill, you were. And I appreciate you putting him off by himself so he could be cursed to anonymity for the rest of the 2024 season. But that's great, guys. All right, so we got our Magic Men in. Let me just check my oh yeah. So some listener feedback here on Twitter. At MexiBruin says TJ Harden and Kane Madrano are his Magic Men, so he agrees with y'all. I guess we're getting a theme here. And then our dear friend Nancy from the UCLA and Empire Network. Hope you're doing well, Nancy. She says, thinking about Magic Men for the team. There are obvious choices on offense: Ethan and Ethan Garbers, of course, and Jay Toya. Which Jay Toya would be a hell of a Magic Man if any of us would have picked him. He's going to be very magic in the middle there. But her other choices: J. Mike, TJ, and Ruben on the line on defense. Kane and Devin Kirkwood, of course, that would have been another good candidate as well. So, however, Nancy finishes by saying her Magic Man is none other than Coach Deshaun Foster. So that's good.
Nice. That's a good one.
I like
That's a
that
good
very
one.
much. And then we'll finish this segment on talking about how UCLA football is going to be. We started the show with a call from Shame Dog, and he's insane, and we love him for it. But we also got Dez calling in, and you think the Godfather's diluted. Jeez, wait to get a load of...
Finally, football has come back to Westwood. I'm super excited for the season. Get our first Big Ten After Dark game on our march to 10 wins. Yes, it's crazy, guys. Calling again with the same thing I've always said. UCLA will make the playoffs this year. We'll have a 10-win record. I'm banking on it. Plus, I placed $10 on a $2,000 win for them to win the conference anyway. So it'd be great if they could do that. Outside of that, love you guys. Have a great day. Go Bruins.
See, there is somebody that believes in the Bruins even more, Godfather. So,
Good for him.
It's not just us. But yeah, this is very good. And then we got one more call from Crispy Bruins. Let me play that. But Des, we love you. Thank you very much, and I hope you're right. That'd be awesome. I think you're crazy, but we'll see.
Hey guys, it's the Christy Bruin. Just wanted to call in for your preview podcast. Very excited to listen to it. Just give my own little note for it. I don't see why this team can't be competitive for 9 games. I think we have the Jimmies and Joes on offense to really push some of these Big Ten teams. Wrote in kind of sarcastically on the Podcast of Champions, but I really do think that there are a lot of 60-40, 70-30 Bruin games against Iowa, against Nebraska, against Rutgers. Now, are we going to win all of those? No, obviously not. But there is a world where we do end up 9-3 if everything goes right. Now, again, we're not living in the perfect world. Like, statistically, I expect us to lose 1, 2, 3 of those games. But I really do believe that 6-6 is the baseline for this team, and we should hold this coaching staff to that standard. Because we do have the guys. We can be competitive in our first year. All right, guys, take care. Bye.
No, and I really agree with everything that he said in that, right? And because to me, it's like if the Bruin offense is, good, if Bieniemy is decent, then they will be. They'll have a good shot to win a lot of these 50-50 games. And other than that 3-game stretch, I think a lot of 50-50 games. I guess any final thoughts on the Bruin season as we head into it? We're going to shut this show down and get to the next one. But boys, you all doing well?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good. All right. So we're going to come back with a Hawaii preview specific to that. Mike did an interview with a Hawaii beat reporter, which is awesome. And we'll have a What's Bruin as well. So we'll see you on the other side. There's going to be a lot of What's Bruin content coming your way this week.
Part two coming next.
Until next time, Bill, Mike, give me a duet of What Do We Say?
Go Bruins.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's got to be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, brah, we play some ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.